She's going to help me go out and do it, the interviews with the women. And also, we may even go to Victoria and do it there. Because, you know, the other thing is to sort of move on and do new things as well. And so I thought, why not go to Victoria and expand the project and you know, film the women down there. And you know, there's going to be detractors that say, oh, you shouldn't do this. But the women are going to be given a choice. We're going to approach them and say, here's what we want to do. Would you talk to us for half an hour and we'll compensate you for your time? So, you know, they're adults. It's up to them if they want to do it. And there will be benefits for doing it, right? Safety and so on.
I'm going to go back into the filmmaking side now that we've been talking about filmmaking and what you've been doing. Mm-hmm. I'd like the audience to know, actually, you are actually a trained filmmaker. You're a graduate film student.
Yes.
And you've been doing this for a while. And I just wonder if you could give me some background. You started in animation, though, didn't you?
Well, I actually started, when my dad had a Super 8 film camera when I was a child, and I had hamsters, and I just took his camera and I would follow my hamsters around and film them. Those are my very first movies. Yeah. And I don't know where they are now, but so I always had a keen interest in filming and cameras and that kind of thing. And at school, in high school, I remember grade 12 and 13 that instead of handing in essays, my English teacher allowed me to hand in a video thesis. So like I got to interview people and talk about what my subjects were. I even attempted filming a prostitution video in Toronto with a partner. And, you know, I was just a teenager, but I had ambition and I had passion and I wanted to do this. So when I finished high school, I applied for radio and television arts at Ryerson, and that was my first and only choice. So I was committed. I was like, if I don't get into this school, I'm not going to go to school. And that's one of the questions that some novice filmmakers have been asking me is, should I go to film school? How do I approach this? What do I do? And for, you know, film school, or I went to radio and TV, and then I took a year of film 101, motion picture, and in 101 film they taught you how to load a film camera, do light meter readings, shoot actual hands-on stuff. What school did for me was it gave me confidence. It gave me confidence to feel confident enough to start working in the industry, that I know what I'm doing. And one of the greatest, I actually majored, when I went to Ryerson Radio and TV, I majored in documentary production and creative writing. So I knew kind of what I really wanted to do and my passion and so on. And you know, the documentary course taught me a great deal. And but then life interrupted. After the animation thing happened, right after I graduated from Ryerson Radio and TV, instead of working in the industry per se, I got a job at Seneca College. It was a summertime program for children doing animation, and I was the animation. There was an animation instructor, and I was the assistant instructor. So basically what we did was we did plasticine claymation, and then some of the more advanced students got to do basic cell animation with papers and such. And it was great. I mean, the kids were so creative, and it was a lot of fun to work with the kids. But I remember that at the end of every day, it was such a demanding job that at the end of every day at 5 p.m., I would be so emotionally drained. I had to actually nap. And it was the first job where that happened. It was so, like, you know, the kids are just like, dude, look at this, look at this, look at this. So it's very demanding. And I remember that being one of the reasons why I thought, you know, maybe I'll do this later on in life. But it's very, you know, I love working with kids, but it was very, you know, it required a lot of energy. So yeah, I do have a bit of an animation background, and that's mostly from like self-taught animation. I just was keenly interested in, you know, I watched Disney when I was a kid, and I loved the fact that you could actually draw things and make them move. And so yeah, my passion for film has been in my blood for a very long time. And, you know, and then even after all the stuff that happened to me, I went to Korea to teach English, and I failed at that miserably because I had a psychotic episode. That was when I first lost my mind. And then I came back, and it took a lot of years of healing and getting better. And then I realized, you know, I have something to offer now. I learned a lot about a neighborhood called the Downtown East Side, and maybe I can make a few documentaries about that. That's pretty much how it started. So, but you know, today it's very exciting because everybody has a cell phone camera in their pocket, and so it's a great you know, if anything, my films hopefully will serve to inspire others to just sort of do it. Just do it. Take your phone out. You know, with an iPhone, you can shoot HD images that are better than what I was shooting when I started doing Just You, Me, and God in 10 city blocks. So, I mean, it's not about the equipment per se, it's about the content and your passion behind it and the stories that you're telling.
Yeah. It's to me, it's always been about the content. That's why I do community television. David Mamet, a very famous American playwright, just said production values are just words for having nothing to say. You know, and in many ways, like he hits it.
Yeah.
And this is one of the reasons why I really appreciate the work that you do. And clearly, Vancouver Coastal Mental Health appreciated with the 2013 Courage to Come Back Award,
Yes.
the BC Council Awards, and the people that are going and getting your films. Your films are being used in classrooms. People are watching them online, and you've just done a whole bunch of things which, you know, really put the icing and beyond on the Courage to Come Back. The work that you've done has been amazing ever since, as you said, you first lost your mind.
Yeah,
and,
thank you,
and you found it, and what great work you've been doing. I just want to, we're probably going to have to go pretty soon, but as we do this and you're talking about it, we know that filmmaking is very technical. In other words, you don't have a camera, you don't make a film. You don't have something to edit with, it's not going to get finished. And I'm just wondering, can you give me an idea of the kind of gear you use and how you come about deciding whether you're going to purchase it, rent it, and just the sort of ground level guerrilla filmmaking things that might help somebody out there that's watching this?
Well, you know, there are so many things that are great. I would stress trying to access the best equipment you can. But in some cases, you can't. When I started in 2010, I had a very basic PC. It was like a Pentium 4, and I had like a really simple editing program that would always crash on me. I didn't have enough RAM. I used a camera that was basically a prosumer, almost a consumerish camera. But again, because of the content, I mean, that's what stood out. I had, for example, also one of the great tools is a GorillaPod. Recently discovered this, that you don't even need to get, like with a GorillaPod, it's a tripod / on-the-go equipment that you can attach to anything, and you can get any perspective with this GorillaPod. You can also use it as like a run-and-gun device, you know? So you've got, you know, and it's just like a $60 item. Right? So for $60, I have a piece of equipment that I can do multiple things with. And that's really important. Over the years, I've been fortunate that one of the things that have being multi-skilled, like being able to film, being able to edit, being able to write, and do all those things, has afforded me the ability to cut corners. And cutting corners has sort of been important in some of my success. And the reason being is that, you know, if I just spend $200 to make a film, and then I can sell that film to an educational institution for $250, I'm laughing, right? So the key is for other filmmakers is make the film, but, you know, don't blow the budget, because, you know, just look at Hollywood. Whenever they spend a gajillion dollars, they rarely make a gajillion dollars back. You know, and when you can make some money, and even on a low budget film, it shows that you're able and that you can move forward. And I think that's really important. In the beginning, I thought to myself regarding equipment, never buy cheap equipment. And that's true, because sometimes when you buy cheap equipment and it breaks on you, you know, what are you going to do? So a good thing to do when you're trying to get equipment is consider renting. I've been renting for a very long time. Renting affords you the ability to rent the higher gear, the higher end gear. Also, it'll give you an opportunity to learn gear that you've never used before, and to use it.
We're running out of time now, Andrew, and very quickly before we go, I've got to ask you about what you say is your most watched film, or the film that people are going at now called Prisonization.
Yes, Prisonization was produced in 2013. And interestingly enough, it took me about 7 years to see this come to fruition. And that was because it was so difficult. Prisonization is about two federal inmates, one having served 15 years and the other 12, that try to reintegrate back into society. I mean, you can imagine trying to find these subjects, how difficult it would be. You know, who coming out of jail wants to tell their story to the world? You know, they just want to, you know. So I had a subject, but I was looking for another one. And again, when the Courage nomination came through, this was in 2013 as well, and I accepted the nomination, I didn't know what was in store for me. I actually, one of the other recipients, whose name is Curtis, became the second subject for Prisonization, and it all clicked, and I was like, wow. And the great thing about Prisonization is that it's the very first documentary that I made that broke through the American market. I tried for months and years to sell my films to American educational institutions, but I couldn't. And Prisonization became the first one. And so I'm very proud of that movie, because it took a lot of work as well. And so, yeah, that's close to my heart.
And while we're here, let's just go through a number of the ways that people can see your films. Room 6.
Okay, so Room 6 is going to be released online February 20th, 2015. It's free to watch, and they can go to www.room6film, and that's the numeral 6.blogspot.ca. People can also go to my Facebook page, just Andy Fiore, and I post everything there.
Yeah. So. And you also have a Fiore film site too. Well.
Yes, the Fiore film site is afiorefilm.blogspot.ca, and all my films are posted there.
We've got to get going right now. Thank you for being with us. It's always a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you for inviting me.
Okay. We've been talking to Andrew Fiore on After Hours, guerrilla filmmaker, Courage to Come Back 2013 award winner, and releasing his next feature short film. It's just wonderful talking to him. My name is Sid Tan. Thank you for being with us.